every possible outcome already exists in a non-render way, because you need an observer to render an experience in mind. So every experience that we are not observing, they still exist as parallel realities, but unrendered. Only this we are observing or measuring directly is being rendered for us. That saves a lot of energy and imagination to oneness. Because if you have to render everything that can possibly be simultaneously, then that would be impossible even for infinity. So we need to be lucid. We have to keep our engines on all the time, otherwise the plane will crash. Even when we are flying well, ever more so when we are flying bad and we are feeling negative emotions, at all times we have to keep our engines on. That means we must keep advertising our presence to the higher self. Only by doing so, we will become lucid into this mind reality. And by becoming lucid, we start to gain control over the navigation of our life. We are able to navigate across different parallel realities towards the parallel reality that we prefer. So we, thanks to parallel universes and thanks to lucidity, are able to recover our free will, which has been deprived. Even though we have a strong illusion of free will, we are in our normal state of the human disease. Our free will is being completely eradicated by the unconscious. It is the unconscious, the mind itself, the unconscious mind that is ruling our lives, even though we have the false belief of free will. Only when we are able to become lucid, following the technique that I just described, only when we are becoming lucid, only when we are making the leap of faith from external reality to mind, and we keep reminding oneness about this epiphany of ours on a constant basis, constantly. We must keep advertising constantly and telling the one mind that we know that is mind and that we are here as lower selves, but we have realized that it's mind, that everything is mind and we know it. We must keep telling her that we know it. In the good times and in the bad times, we must keep advertising our presence, drawing her attention onto us. Then the miracle happens. We start to gain control over the parallel universes that can open to us. Parallel universes that were previously locked to us because we were being driven fully by the unconscious mind. As we become more conscious, as we become more lucid within the one mind, we start gaining control for the first time of our destiny. We start to feel what it is for the first time to have true free will. This works through the mind. You will find yourself gradually in a world where you, with a personality that has changed so much that you cannot even recognize yourself from the past in a positive way. You will find yourself gradually in a world that is embracing you and everything is possible. And when this is happening, then you know that oneness has acknowledged your presence as a lower self and as part of the higher self. Well, another very important issue, very hard to understand or to accept, is that each lower self, each one of us, is a universe in itself. This comes back to quantum mechanics, but especially special theory of relativity. We know that everybody is separated within the experience of mind. Everybody seems separated from the other, although there is no separation, but the illusion is an illusion of separation. An illusion of separation means that light takes a minuscule amount of time to travel from body to body to report whatever experiences has contained. As the photons of light bounce off your retina in your eye, it brings information about the surroundings, but it bounces off away. There is no light going into your brain has never received even a single photon of light, and yet everything that you see is therefore constructed by your mind. You've never seen directly any physical external reality because it does not exist. So there is a separation between bodies, which is illusory. The science will say, yeah, there is a micro nanosecond that will take the light from bouncing off your body and bringing the information to someone else, and so on and so on. So there is a certain separation, and then the theory of relativity tells us that microsecond means that we are living in the past relative to each other, because the information takes some time to bounce off the light from one that bounces on and goes onto the other, so that we know the existence of an apparent external world around us. Is this telling us is that we all live in the past of each other, because I only see you in the past, even if it's a very recent past, just a nanosecond. It is always the past. We only see the past. Even our own body is the past. When we put this together with the theory of relativity, that teaches us that the smallest possible parallel universe is that of a steel frame, which is as large as infinity, but then we realize that, therefore, the conclusion is inescapable. Everyone dwells in its own individual, unique parallel universe. Even if it's only microsecond in time length, we all live in our own now slice. Allows us to flee the idea of solipsism, because everything that I've explained so far may seem to be solipsistic. To say that there is no external reality, everything is mind, it sounds solipsistic, because it seems that I'm saying that I am the only one in existence. And that's kind of true. But everybody exists equally. I'm not saying that it's only me who exists. Everybody exists equally as part of oneness. But we all individually exist in each one of our individual unique parallel universes that last just a microsecond each, and keeps moving along the timeline of infinity in the block universe. Now you can see, may seem solipsistic at first sight, but when we understand that every single individual is a universe in itself, that means that reality is like a multiverse of parallel solipsistic universes put together into a single apparent physical experience. Relativity, of course, insists that this is true. Relativity, for instance, tells us that if we put a lower self, at a speed near the speed of light, in a few seconds it can be years into the future. That is underlying that every frame of reference has to be a universe in itself. And this allows us, thanks to relativity, allows us to understand how solipsism, being true, is not exclusive of other alternative solipsistic realities, the block universe all the way to infinity. And that is the higher self, that wave of motion across imagination of infinite intelligence. That is the higher self. And because every one of us as lower selves inhabit a unique parallel universe, the vast majority of the people inhabit universes that are not that lucid, that are very, 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 very unlucid, very, very deep asleep, very unaware, very much fallen into the trap of a physical external reality that they believe with absolute fanatic faith. Because everyone lives and dwells its own unique reality, that reality can be more lucid towards some than others, depending on the degree of lucidity of the lower self. and the amount of advertising that the lower self does to attract and draw the attention of the multiverse, of the one single mind upon itself. That the more I advertise, the more the mind remembers I belong to her, the more the likelihood of me existing, the more the likelihood that I exist in the first place. So it's kind of retrospective, back to the time of my physical birth. For someone to become absorbed in the physical reality, so deluded by the physical reality that he may even come to a point where the one single mind completely forgets that it's ever existed, retrospectively and never be born in the first place, because the likelihood of existing is retrospective. Everything within mind contains a unique probability of existing. Some are higher than others. Those who are more lucid, more aware that this is mind, this experience is mine, are the ones who have a higher probability of existing. And those who are completely convinced, those who have made the leap of faith fully, like one would say Jesus Christ or the Buddha, you could say these people have 100% probability of existing. They could not have been born as lower selves. So let us keep the engines running. We must keep the engines running, even when we are flying well and high. Ever more so when we are not. Keep advertising. Keep saying to yourself, to the higher self, I know that you are mind. I know that everything that I see is inside me. And I know that this is my ownership universe. This is my unique universe. I know there are other people that are as real as I am. They are all inside their own pocket infinite universe. My universe is mine. And every atom in the universe that I experience is mine because it's me. It belongs to me. It's my imagination. So what I'm saying is that the reason why there is a strong illusion of there being an external reality is not because there is an external reality, but because we are all one, so we all have the same imagination. We're all sharing the same dream. There is only one mind. That explains why there is a tree right there where you can also see it, but you can also see the tree where I'm seeing from a different frame of reference, a slightly different perspective, but you can see it not because there is a tree out there, but because you and me are having the same dream, the same imagination. The tree we are imagining, and the body, your body and my body, we are imagining. I am imagining because I am you and you are me. And the distance, and the time that takes to cover the distance, that's part of the imagination. Let's control and navigate between parallel universes. It can be done. My next episode will be going into much more detail about the reasons why our experience is exclusively mind. I will give you a few reasons, including evidence that you can check up for yourself. Reality is only mind.